Okay, let's put the next piece up here. And I'm going to cut that down at the angle. Let's see how well I can do it this time, huh? It's just kind of a trial and error, this first little cut. And like I say, if you don't want to do that first cut, you don't necessarily have to. See, I've got to cut this back. That's okay. I've got a lot of this to work with, right? I've got 4 inches or so of this extra. Make sure I don't cut myself, huh? Okay, now go up at the angle. The angle of the dangle. Okay, looks like I gotta go just a hair further. There and then up. Let's try that. Okay, that looks good. I can live with that. Okay, push it in there. It just kind of, when somebody sees it, they'll see that it's kind of cut at the angle. And like I say, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Okay. Now, I'm just going to make sure that's pushed in all the way. It is. If you were to time me, oh, I got to replace my battery. I'll be right back. Okay, back at it. I'm glad I had a battery all charged and ready. Now, if I were to be doing this without having the video and all that, it'd probably take me 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most to install brand new weather stripping. Okay, so it doesn't really take you very long. Anybody should be able to do this. You can look at your old stuff, and if your old stuff looks all dirty and nasty and it's got paint all over it and you want to make it look a little nicer, go out and buy some of this and replace it. You can do it. Very simple to do. It'll just make your place look that much better. And before, I remember the weather stripping was short over on this side by about 1 inch. And this will make sure that I get a nice tight seal. Okay. Oh man, almost good. I don't like to usually get them that close because if you cut it too much, you think, oh, I can do it. And then all of a sudden you find out that you cut it way too far. And you're like, okay, now what do I do? Well, you could always cut a little piece, you know, if you wanted. I'm just making a little notch there for the height of the threshold. Okay, and now see, that one's not going in all the way at the bottom, and so that little last end I'm going to just cut at a slight angle because it's got some caulking and stuff in it from years ago, way down there at the bottom. Okay. Okay. I'm going to cut this just a hair further. That notch. looks like it's still slightly hitting, and I want it to pooch back when the door opens and closes. You know what I mean? Okay, there we go. Okay. Now see, I didn't have it in all the way, and I wouldn't have known had I just felt like that. You push back on the back side, nice and straight and even along there. Okay. There we go. And voila. I've done it, by Joe. And eventually, I'm going to install some new stuff around the front door too. Let's see. See how that's kind of cut at a slight angle up that way when it pooches. And it'll fold back after a while, you know, once the door starts closing it on it and stuff. See how nice that is? That gives you a really good, that's going to give me a good seal around this door. Hear it? Oh, that's beauty. And so see, when I install my door handles and stuff, I want to adjust the strike plate at this bottom one, not the deadbolt one, but the one at the bottom. I want it adjusted. If it's about like that, then I know I can make it a little bit tighter by adjusting the strike plate to get the door to push in tight. Then when I drill out and install the strike plate for the deadbolt, the actual plate, I may have to ream out the side. Remember how the old one, the old piece, somebody reamed it out. See, here's the old one I just happen to have. See how they reamed out over on this side here? Look at that. They reamed it way out because the deadbolt needed to go way over here. Whoever dadoed this in, they should have dadoed it over to the right a little bit further than they did, but they didn't. And so when I installed the new strike plate for the deadbolt, I may have to ream out the same way like that. And you might say, oh, don't do that. Just adjust this here so it's not as tight, you know, right about there. Well, if I get it snugger like that, then I'm inclined to know that I'm always going to have a good weather stripping edge, a seal for the winter and the summer. Do you see what I mean? Okay, and I was telling you, eventually I am going to replace this stuff here at the front door. Now let's just take a look at that for a second. See how this stuff is white, right? But when they painted the door, see this? They painted the door. Some painters came and probably nobody was at this condo and they thought, oh, we'll just paint the door in place. We'll just paint right up against the seal. We'll get it close and stuff. Well, if you look on the edge, you can see where there's red paint all the way down along there. They didn't do a very good job, did they? See all the red down here? This stuff is dirty. It's got some notches there. Here's a rip piece on here, and see this weather stripping? It's kind of an off-white, isn't it? Can you see that? See how it's kind of a different color? Well, I'm gonna repaint this door jamb just from here over to here, just from here to there. Okay, and so I'll take the door out, I'll pull the weather stripping out, and then I'll paint that, let it dry, put the new weather stripping in. But look at this weather stripping I got. They have different colors at the store. Okay, see this one here? It's a little bit whiter, isn't it? It's just a little bit whiter, and that's fine. And it's funny, I went to the Home Depot, they only had one color. They had this one here. Okay, I went to Lowe's for looking for something else, and I just happened to be looking at this stuff. And you know, they had like 4 different colors of white. They had a pearl, they had a they had an off-white, like, but at the front door they had a bright white, and they had kind of like a not a tan color, but almost like a Navajo white, which has a little bit more yellow in it. And you know, so that, can you see how this here is really gonna clean up all that stuff and make that all brand new. See, so I've got 3 more pieces to that, and this stuff really doesn't cost that much at the store. You get them in 7-foot lengths. They're about $4.50 a piece, and it's funny, they don't sell 3-foot 6 pieces for 3-foot tall doors or something. So they know whenever you need to do an entire door, you got to buy 3 pieces, even though you've got 4 feet of excess that you're going to be throwing away, or you can save it. That 4-foot piece, I'm going to save it. I probably have somewhere else I can use that later on down the road. Okay, and I could store it in my attic or something like that. And then I saw at the store they had a door set packs, but it's slightly different. This piece here was like wood, and it was a little bit longer, and it was connected onto there, and you could buy the 2 7-foot pieces and a 3.5-foot piece, and you cut it. But by the time, and it's funny, it's like by the time you buy that, it was just as expensive, if not just, it was actually a little bit more expensive than buying 3 7-foot pieces at the $4.50 each. $4.50 each is $12, $13.50, and that stuff was about $14 or $15 a set. And because the piece was so long, I didn't know if this groove was long enough for it, and I thought, nothing doing. I'm just gonna do it the way I always do it. And so that's what I did. Okay, and just know that if I can do it, you can do it. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. What am I going to talk about next time? Well, I'm just about ready. I mean, I got a couple more things to do to this door, but see, I still have the door shoe to put on. Here's the old door shoe with the weather stripping on the bottom of it. I've got the screws all ready for it. I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. I've got a couple door handles up here, and I'm gonna make a decision which one to do for installing the door handles. Okay, so sooner or later I'll get everything put on, and whenever I do something on this door, I'll make a video of it and show you. Stick around. The more you watch, the more you learn.